Good morning. Today we'll be learning about how water gets into the plant cells. We know that water is needed in photosynthesis, but how does water actually get into the plant cell? Please answer the questions on the side. Perfect. So the reactants of photosynthesis is sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. So we know that water is needed in order to make glucose, which is the food. And this happens inside the chloroplast of a plant. Since we are talking about moving water into the cells, can you guess which part of Starger this is? Perfect. So we're talking about transporting water from the ground through the plant to the chloroplast. In order to get inside of the cell, in order for water to get inside the cell and to the vacuole and then to the chloroplast, which organelle must the water pass through first? In order for water to get into the cell, which organelle must the water pass through? Perfect. We know that the cell membrane controls what goes in and out of the cell. So the water will go through the cell membrane and gets held in the vacuole until it's time to be used inside the chloroplast. We are used to seeing the cell membrane on the close to the outside of the cell drawn as a line, but in reality, the cell membrane surrounds the cell and looks very similar to this right here. I'm going to draw a picture of a cell membrane, and this is the picture that I want you to draw. It's going to look something like this. This is what I want you to draw on your notes. So a cell membrane first starts off with these circular heads and these squiggly tails, and then a squiggly tail, and a circular head. Let me fix this picture. So what I just drew something like this. I just drew these heads and these squiggly tails. The next thing I'm going to draw is this right here, which looks just like this. Then I'm going to go back to draw my heads and squiggly tails because it's beside this figure right here. Head, squiggly tail, squiggly tail, squiggly tail, squiggly tail, and I'm going to draw one more. Head, squiggly tail, squiggly tail, squiggly tail, squiggly tail, and a head. All right, so these heads and squiggly tails are actually called lipids. I want you to label that on your notes. And these circular pieces right here are actually called proteins. I want you to label that on your notes as well. So these are proteins and these are lipids. And my picture should look something similar to here. The cell membrane allows different things to pass through the lipids, and the cell membrane allows certain things to pass through the proteins. Now, once the water gets into the cell, the water goes to the vacuole. We know the central vacuole holds water. If the cell has enough water and the vacuole is full, then the plant looks normal, stands upright. If the cell loses water, too much water is lost, the vacuole shrinks, and the plant cell appears to die. So it's important to create a balance of water. You don't want the plant to lose too much water because then it starts to shrink. Well, you also don't want the plant to gain too much water. You want there to be a balance. There should be a balance on how much water is inside the cell and how much water is outside of the cell. What part of Stunger is this? We're trying to create a balance of water in and out of the cell. Great. I hope you said regulation. Regulation is when we reach homeostasis or equilibrium, and this is just creating a balance. We want to create a balance. So let's give an example. If this is the inside of the plant cell, and this is the outside of the plant cell, and these little droplets represents water, which way will the water molecules move in order to create a balance? I hope you said inside the cell. We see that there are 5 water molecules on the outside and 1 water molecule on the inside. In order to create a balance, we want to push the water molecules on the inside of the cell. Now we have 3 water molecules on the outside and 3 water molecules on the inside, and everything is good. Here is another example. If we have 4 water molecules on the outside and 2 on the inside, which way will water, 4 on the inside, 2 on the outside, which way will the water move in order to create a balance? Perfect. I hope that you said outside of the cell. Once the water moves outside of the cell, we will create a balance. When we're talking about the movement of water across the cell membrane, this is called osmosis. I want you to pause the video right now and write down the definition of osmosis. When we talk about osmosis, we're always moving water, and water will always move from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. So an area with a lot of water will always move to an area with low water. So a high number, 5, will move to a low number, 1. So high to low. We always move from high to low. Great. Now let's try another example together. Perfect. If this is my cell, and this represents my water, which way will the water molecules move in order to create a balance? Perfect. I hope that you said inside of the cell. They're going to move from a high concentration, so 4. We're going to move to a low concentration from 2. So from high to low, from high to low. Awesome, awesome. Now I want you to look on your notes and try out letters A through F. I also want you to come back and enter your answer for F. Perfect. Once the plant cells in the water has reached equilibrium, equilibrium is when the items are equal. So there's an equal amount of water on the outside and an equal amount of water on the inside. Then the arrows will be balanced. One arrow will go in, one arrow will go out. That shows that equilibrium has been reached. Equilibrium has been reached when you see one arrow pointing in and one arrow pointing out. I want you to go to your notes and I want you to try out G through I.